first question for everybody. How many of you think that your teams are understaffed and you need more developers? Rest of them are happy, looks like. Okay, so a lot of you I can see are feeling that your teams are, or your Scrum teams are understaffed and you need more developers. Developers or managers? Developers. Okay, the next thing, how many of you feel that the work that you are doing is mundane, and probably if you had somebody else to do that, it would have been great? Again, correct. All of us are feeling that. Those who are not, they're just trying to be humble. Uh, the third question, what are you really looking forward to do more techno stuff and just get those mundane things out if you had the time and opportunity and the organization was paying for it? Yes. So great. I think we are in the right room if all those answers are yes. Now let's move forward, and I have few pictures. I want you to tell me, what do those pictures trigger when you see these pictures? What is the reaction that you immediately have? A dino? A Lego house? And executor, Star Wars executor, correct, from the, for the Star Wars fans. So what does it trigger for you? What is the quick first thing that comes in? Very good. By the way, I have some goodies for the best answers. Okay, so you can assemble them. What else? Building blocks, great. Awesome. Anybody can do it. Multiple people, different parts can be worked together. So great. And why has this stopped? Am I supposed to be very close to it? Okay. So I think great stories, great, all of you are able to relate. You are able to build it. You have a great opportunity for creativity. I think that's so important, correct? When we were growing up, the Lego blocks were just the tallest pillars and the tallest buildings that we could make. But nowadays, kids are creative and they have more opportunities and more blueprints to do it. But yeah, so creativity is coming in, and you don't need to be an astronaut, aeronautical engineer. You don't need to be a civil engineer or a sculptor to do any of those. So that's the power, and that is the power of blocks. All you can see is different blocks, different shapes, and how they all come together to create so many different use cases. And that's something which is going to really make the game change, correct? Now think about it. What happens to this from your corporate world point of view? Come back to the enterprise and imagine you had a world where you had a clean slate, you had great Lego blocks. What is the power that people would have had? You don't need to be skilled. You don't need to be an engineer. How would you leverage it? Any answers? You start building. Anybody can start building, correct? All you need is great innovation, that spark of innovation, and you could just pick it up and start doing it. So that itself is the most powerful thing. What are we struggling with? People in today's world. And if we had that Lego blocks for everybody to take part and do things, what a game changer it would be. So that's where we are going to go. But who is this person whom we are talking of? Those Lego toys were made by my kids, but who is that Lego man in our world? Any idea? Everyone. Yeah, and we call this everyone the citizen developer. So he is a citizen developer. He is the person who has no title. We've never seen titles where JDs with titles or roles looking for a citizen developer. That doesn't exist. But the person or the role or the expectation exists that people can do things. They are able to assemble composable components and build solutions either for themselves or for a bigger work group. and he is the one who is a persona. He is a persona who is able to do these things. So we are going to talk more about the Lego man or the Lego woman when we talk of the citizen developer in our corporate enterprise world context. Now, so don't worry about reading it. I've just told you everything. But fine, why is this man so important? Or when I say man, I'm not biased towards any gender. But why is the citizen developer so important? What is it that is the game changer? India also has a large population, but does that mean that we can always use that as a incentive for ourselves? It may sometimes not work, correct? So what is it that works for this large population? Any idea? I know what I'm doing. I know the mundane activity I need to. Awesome. More than that, they are a big part of the organization. They are 41% of the organization. So that means the impact that these people can create is enormous. We are just 10% of the organization, and we are struggling with so many backlogs, so many requirements everybody wants from us, and we are not able to fulfill it, correct? There are so many things which are always in the prioritization. There's tech refreshes, there tech compliance, risk. We are only overwhelmed with a lot of these things, and poor the business goes, they don't know. How many of you attended yesterday Venkat's keynote? Anybody? And do you remember the shower story that he said? And what was it? The developer who is developing it knows the solution best and can do the best software development, correct? So that's the essence. These people also have that impact because they could really take things in different way. Okay, so now let's come back to our next thing. Fair enough, Parul, 41%. But what are the problems that they can solve? So I read an article about some great research about statistics, and some of the few problems that all of us can relate to is the time to market. The bottleneck for the time to market that it takes, the amount of lack of clarity that we have from the business practices. As you mentioned, we do not, as IT, do not understand business that well. There are other things like the communication between IT and business, and obviously the prioritization. So all these things are really stacking up, and that's where the new breed of developers, the citizen developers, can solve our problem. How? First, productivity. They are always going to be there. They are going to be able to address the large volumes that we have. Then they will obviously add the scale, and that means they are able, with productivity and scale, they can handle far bigger backlogs for us. Agility, you mentioned agility, correct? They know what they want, and that's why the deliveries are much faster. Another thing, innovation. They are booming with ideas. I don't know how many of you interact with operations people or the business themselves. They have some great ideas, but they don't know how to do it. And that's where innovation comes in, because now they have the tools to do those things. And then finally, if we get all these things, obviously the cost will come in. The cost to serve, the cost to prepare these things, manage it, everything comes down. So all in all, we will have some great results if we are able to get these citizen developers empowered. Fair enough, but how do you empower? Where are the blocks? How do we get those blocks? Any idea in your world, what are the blocks for these citizen developers, or even if they exist? Correct. We need tools to create stuff easily. Sorry? Yes, but they all need tools. So we need to have those right technologies in place for these people to do some solutions. And that's where a buzzword called hyperautomation comes in place. So hyperautomation is basically orchestration of multiple technologies. And all these technologies, whether it's a BPM, it's a decision system, it's IDPs, which help in intelligent document processing. It is a low code, no code. A lot of these kind of softwares are already there. RPA is something which a lot of us keep hearing about. So all these softwares, when combined together, they give the empowerment to create solutions to solve business problems. And that's where the key is. So hyperautomation has some great statistics. In fact, during COVID, what was found out that when organizations had to very, very rapidly change their systems and processes to deal with the new trends that were happening and the regulations that were coming in, a lot of these applications came to a rescue. They were able to quickly deliver solutions and come up with the new type of processing. Either it is new regulatory requirements that came in and this banks or any other organization needs to handle it, whether it's a healthcare and they need to take care of the new demands that were coming in and the change in the processes and the new learnings that had to be built in. So that's where hyper automation really plays a role. We will talk of more variations about it, but it has great trends. So there were trends from, again, Gartner's, Forrester, and so many other renowned institutes where they said that 60% of the acceleration, 70% of acceleration can be really brought about by hyper automation. It can get optimization, operational optimization by 60%. So great statistics, lots of numbers if you go on the net, which will back these up. The thing is that while all these things are backing us up, the question is how hyper automation and our Lego man, the citizen developer, is going to work together, correct? So hyper automation is tool which a developer can use, a citizen developer could use. So we now need to see the connect between these two, the citizen developer and the hyper automation, and that's where the scale and the volume comes in. So the backlogs start reducing because your hyper automation has a lot of these reusable low code, no code kind of solutions, plug and plays, which will help them to quickly start building their backlogs because hyper automation is a tool which provides it's regulated by IT. The shadow IT challenge goes away. You do not have Excels and macros where the solutions are built, and one fine day with a Microsoft upgrade, things stop working, correct? So those shadow IT challenges can be reduced. You could have better collaboration because now the business is taking care of their needs. Obviously, the cost to build and the speed of delivery, everything comes in once our citizen developer starts using things like hyper automation. So great, but dal mein kuch kala hai. It can't be so great, correct? There has to be some things. Things can never be so perfect. Picture abhi baki hai. So what is that really which is taking, which are the foreseeable risks? There will definitely be risk. And that's why probably it's taking a while for things to hyper automation and citizen developer to become a buzzword. We hear AI ML, we hear generative AI. We are not hearing citizen developer as a buzzword. There are great statistics about one of the biggest risk is the risk of skilled resources, but it's not being bubbled up because nobody has a great solution or no enterprise wants to sell it. So what are the foreseeable risks? What do you think the foreseeable risks are? Testing, governance, security risk, governance, vulnerabilities. Great. So we have both, all of them, most of them, and data governance, or the data leaks. That's one of the very critical things. So data governance plays a very key role. So there are a lot of these current state foreseeable risks, which are making the organizations take a step back and think and find out how we can handle it. And definitely there will be always problems, but problems don't mean that you don't take a step forward and don't find the solution for it. So let's figure out what those solutions could be and how we could really take things forward. So again, any ideas about how you could what could be the solutions? We understood all these are the problems. How do we? Awesome. So, the communities are there. A lot of organizations have COEs, Center of Excellence, which takes care of it, which tries to do these work for the organization. But then they still become the bottleneck because that's a group of 150, 150 people, and you still have the 41% of the organization who is just giving requirements, and every time their requirements are done, they come back and say that the business has changed and the requirements are again changed. So that's where we need to solve that. So we need to find a golden path for our citizen developers. Do we have a golden path for developer experience? A lot of organizations are doing it. Exactly. So there are golden paths which have been created for organizations when it comes to developer experience, and they have been doing that with the help of a lot of platform engineering. We heard a keynote today morning where our speaker was talking about how we can use AI for doing code reviews, for doing writing unit test cases, and doing lot of the work that a developer needs, so that developer has more time to do the next thing. The same way, we need to have a golden path which is part of the platform engineering to cater to our citizen developers. And the day we have it, the citizen developer, nobody can stop them. They can unleash their ideas, innovation, and quickly roll out things. So let's talk of some of these platform engineering practice. IDP, internal developer platforms. Portals, internal developer portals. We all use it. Most of our organizations, mature organizations, are having it, and it's giving us help, lot of time that can be saved. So the moment there is an IDP or an internal developer portal for our citizen developers, that gives them that acceleration that is required, because then they have a community to connect and find out what's happening, correct? The second thing is, lot of these products, when we were speaking about in hyper automation space, they can always be in silos. They are a kingdom by themselves. So that's where you do everything in RPA. RPA has the governance is in RPA. Everything is running around RPA. It is never. It's difficult to integrate it in the whole platform engineering chain. And that's one of the space that we need to observe and find out how we could do that. So that's a key thing where we integrate everything that is happening into the version control, because version control is the first stream from where everything starts. Your CI/CD starts only when you put it in Git, correct? Your version control is the triggering point for your CI/CD. So we need to get them onto the CI/CD. The next thing is the artifact cataloging. We have so many cataloging products where we have the inventory of everything. Today, everybody is talking of API first, where you start doing things first see if there is something available and then start developing. And this is again a place where we all play a role. If we could be the engineers who were making those Lego blocks in the Lego factory and dispatching it, imagine the power that these developers will have and how they will start assembling. So again, the creating those catalogs, having a place for hosting those catalogs, and managing them, adding more resources to that is another key for all these things. There are a lot of products that are coming. Backstage is one of them, but we need, whether it's an internal or an external platform, we need something like that. Data governance. Data is one of the key things, and if you are from a regulated organization, then it becomes a bigger constraint. So handling data governance for development done by citizen developers becomes a key. And if anything has to meet the scale, we need to have solutions which can be part of the platform engineering, so that it is it is going through the journey of the entire life cycle. And the last thing is infra as code. So these tools need to get hosted, whether it's an RPA engine or it's a workflow engine. So you need to have infra as code for quickly ramping up these softwares and solutions when it's a need, whether it's an internal SaaS hosting that you need to as an infrastructure, you need to create that, or it could be an external. But we need to find out ways how, if somebody wants to bring up few RPA servers, how do you do that? So that these are the few things that I feel that we really need to bring in to make a difference. Now, this is the golden path that I was talking about. Yeah, so having an IDP itself to take care of it, a connector to tie the knots, the infra as a code, and the artifact repository for storing various of these insights. So this is this is one of the key places that we can start with, and then the journey goes on. So once you have done this, you can get a paradigm shift in how the organizations are going to deliver their solutions, because you've really taken care of most of the concerns, the security risk, the governance, the standardization, and the data breaches. So that's the paradigm shift that we should bring about, and probably that's the next thing that organizations should focus if they want more resources at lower cost. Okay, so I want to leave you last with the, once we do those things, what is the next opportunity that we have? We have an opportunity to do a shift where we can create reusable components. We can have the business delivering business outcomes which are coming at a lightning speed, and that's going to help us be competitive in the market and create some great trends that are required. And I think for a long time there's been a lot of focus on technology acceleration. We are focused about how technology can do things, what are the new technologies that can come in, but we have never focused on business acceleration. And business acceleration cannot be brought in by few of us. It needs the business to bring along, and that's the area that we need to really work on as a business acceleration to make things forward. So that's a quick tour from my side. Thank you, and I had some great time with all of you.